Minnesota in a dazzling original production at Children's Theatre Company. Running now through June 15th, this live stage production of the Disney favorite will delight audiences of all ages. Enjoy all your favorite songs from the movie, plus mesmerizing new music and stunning sets and costumes. You won't want to let it go. Don't miss the musical event of the spring. Get your tickets today at childrenstheater.org.
With your AM 950 weather, I'm Brett Johnson. Look for partly sunny skies today with a high near 58. Tonight, clear with a low around 40. And Wednesday, sunny with a high near 67. Grab a tray at Cafe Latte's Cafeteria and select from a wide variety of soups and sandwiches. The bakery has fresh baked bread daily, along with cakes and more. And the pizza and wine bar features gourmet pizzas that pair perfectly with their 30-plus wines by the glass. Located off Victoria and Grand, more at cafelatte.com.
Portions of the following program may be pre-recorded.
Broadcasting live at 2 p.m. from the studios of AM 950 KTNF, the progressive voice of Minnesota, and airing on WCPT 820, Chicago's Progressive Talk, weeknights at 8 p.m. Welcome to the Gailey Show. I am your host, John Parker. Hello, executive producer Jim Pounds.
Hello. I'd like to welcome everybody to an early greeting for Canada Day, which is not until July 1st, 2025.
Oh, because the election. Okay. And Patrick, hey, how are you doing today in the control room?
Good afternoon. How are you guys today?
Doing well. I mean, everybody's got to be happy because at least Canada is got it right. Right?
Somebody.
Well, what is on the show today? It's actually a Queers Behaving Badly episode. Didn't plan it this way, but there are a lot of queers behaving badly. Infamous fabulist George Santos is headed to jail for the many, many, many lies that he's told. Caitlyn Jenner is begging for money for her legal defense against allegations of financial cryptocurrency malfeasance. And then the Republican governor of Virginia is trying to get the new gay candidate running for lieutenant governor kicked off the ballot for allegedly sharing porn on the internet. Before all that, however, Canada proves once again that it is better than us. But up first, WCPT 820 is celebrating their 20th anniversary. This Saturday, May 3rd, there will be a live broadcast event at Max and Benny's Restaurant, Deli, and Bakery in Northbrook, Illinois. Unfortunately, it is sold out. So if you have tickets, lucky. But obviously, you can tune in between 11 a.m. and 3 p.m. Central. Hal Sparks is going to kick it off at 11 a.m. with the special Hal Sparks radio program live in person. And then at 1 p.m., Hal will be followed by a special WCPT live broadcast with Richard Chu, Joan Esposito, Patty Vasquez, Scott Duff, and guests from their 20-year history.
Wow.
I love they're doing this. You can call 773-467-8202 and leave a voicemail sharing your own WCPT story. You can share how long you've been listening, favorite WCPT memories, favorite hosts and shows, whatever you want to share. They may be playing some of the, they will be playing some of the voicemails on the air. So that number is 773-467-8202. And of course, we at the Gailey Show are so happy to be joining the WCPT family weeknights at 8 p.m. Congratulations to the entire team, past and present, over the past 20 years. They started as an affiliate of the Air America Network like we did. They are currently the only progressive outlet in the Chicago broadcast market and the largest progressive player on the national radio scene with the partnership of the Heartland Signal Digital Newsroom. Happy 20th anniversary, WCPT.
Happy anniversary.
All right. Here in Minnesota, I've got free tickets to give away. So Sasha Colby is going to be at the Fillmore in Minneapolis this October on the 9th. I know that seems early, but tickets are going to go fast. It's probably going to get sold out. And this is why you tune in to AM 950 advance notice. For folks who don't know, Sasha is a drag performer who was called a legend by castmates of RuPaul's Drag Race. She won season 15. The show is called Stripped 2 Tour. It's a blend of dance, storytelling, and drag artistry. Stripped 1 went so well, there's now Stripped 2.
Of course.
So the show is Thursday, October 9th, 2025. I've got 3 pairs of tickets to give away. So the next 3 callers can have them. 952 946 6205. 952 946 6205 for a pair of tickets to see Stripped 2 Tour starring Sasha Colby, winner of RuPaul's Drag Race Season 15. It's for Thursday, October 9th, 2025.
That Fillmore, I like that Fillmore space. I'll bet it's a place a lot of people haven't been to.
Yeah, it's great. It's absolutely great. So, Canada.
Yay, Canada.
Oh, Canada. So yesterday, Canada did what the United States could not do. They elected the Liberal Party to be in control of their government. And that means that the Prime Minister, Mark Carney, will continue. He was the Prime Minister before because Justin Trudeau stepped down, right? And so he became the Prime Minister, and now he will get a full term in office. What was delightful is that the Conservative Party leader, Pierre Poilievre, was in the lead to win, but not only did his party lose yesterday, but he also lost his parliament seat. So Canada...
That he'd held for 20 years.
For 20 years. 20 years. Canada has a different system, more of a European system. I don't know if it's a European system specifically, but their parliament, you elect your local person, and then whoever gets the most seats then gets to have their candidate be the prime minister. And so
I believe the Liberals are 4 seats away from control.
Yes, I'm hopeful actually they don't get control.
Oh, yeah.
I was very sad to see the NDP party, the New Democratic Party. They would be sort of the progressives, you know what I mean? The true left party of Canada. So I'm hopeful that the Liberals don't get a full majority so that the NDP still has a role to play in the government. They did that with the Liberals over the past term. NDP did not fare well yesterday, unfortunately. I think a lot of folks were voting for the Liberal candidate to make sure that the party won.
I think there are 10 seats that haven't been called, that are too close to call yet.
Yeah. So, you know, we'll see. We'll see where it heads. I am again, I would love that don't get the majority so that NDP can have a role in the government, but you know, in any event, the Conservatives did not win, and that is a plus because they needed either the Liberal Party or the NDP party to have a strong front against the Americans. And you should, frankly, have a strong front against the Americans and a strong border against the Americans. You know, even as a anti-Trump anti-MAGA person, as a progressive, I can't trust this country anymore. I don't know how to ask other people to trust this country. I think everything needs to be conditioned with accountability metrics put in if you're doing any business with America, because it is ugly here. What I do want to say about the Canadian election vis-a-vis the LGBTQ community. So apparently, obviously, there were a lot of things that were top of mind for Canadians in this election. For instance, the president of the United States saying that he was on the ballot on Monday. I didn't realize this, but apparently in his Truth Social post, he was saying he's on the ballot and Canada needs to become the 51st state, and that's what's going to happen, and they need to choose that. And so obviously that is, you know, top of mind. The tariffs, also the betrayal that we are doing to Canada with the tariffs is absolutely also top of mind for them. The Liberal Prime Minister candidate, now Prime Minister for sure, Mark Carney, didn't really say anything about the LGBT community on the campaign trail. He gave sort of a vague, he's going to defend the rights of all Canadians and we are all Canadians. His statement was, we all have different identities and distinctions, and one of the great strengths of this country is recognizing that people can be who they are, they can love who they love, they can live where they are, etc., etc. So I don't know what to interpret with that. My personal experience as a queer progressive over my lifetime is that LGBTQ issues are not top of mind for the left parties. And because of that, we sort of get complacent Whereas on the MAGA side and the conservative side, they are obsessed with us. And so they're constantly trying to ban books and introduce legislation, et cetera, et cetera. And this may be, to me, it's not just an American phenomenon. I see this, as a French American citizen. I see this in France, right, as well. So I am hopeful. The Liberal Party has a very strong record when it comes to the LGBTQ community. So I'm hopeful that the party as a whole will continue to take some proactive measures. And the reason why I'm hopeful for that is just to provide a model. Like Minnesota is providing a model. Illinois is providing a model to the rest of the United States. I think it would be great for Canada to continue to do that and to continue to attune to the various constituencies that they have.
But they have said, the friendship with America is going to be different. The friendship they had before with us is over. Those words have been said by Carney and others. So now, as you and I have talked about in the United States, what's going to happen after this terrible poisonous time is over? It's going to be radically different because no more status quo. So I think Canada's saying the same thing. No more status quo. We start over now. Now you have to earn our friendship again because you violated it.
I think that I agree 100%. And I don't have a degree in trade policy. I don't know trade policy. My graduate degree is in public affairs, so we didn't cover trade. But I would say that any treaties that we do from now on, trade agreements, need to have arbitration and accountability built into them, so that they have some metric of taking us to court.
Yeah.
If we can't go from the Biden administration and trade policy there, and then go into a Trump administration that is completely, we can't keep doing this to our trading partners.
It was interesting. Tommy Tuberville, who is probably the dumbest person in the United States Senate, said it's amazing what Trump has accomplished. Considering how bad things were under Biden.
I can absolutely agree with Senator Tuberville. Yeah, it is amazing.
It is amazing that he's literally made enemies out of our friends. That takes a real twisted personality to A, do that, and B, congratulate someone for doing that. It's if there's a new low, I think Tommy just reached it.
Well, it's just it's so maddening to watch the other side talk right now, because it's an emperor, has no clothes situation. Mm-hmm. It's exactly that. We read that book as kids, not as documentary. It's supposed to be a fairy tale, a small little lesson, I guess, tucked in there. But the Emperor Has No Clothes has become a documentary of the United States of America.
2025. Yeah.
We're going to take a break here. It is this episode we're going to get when we come back from the break. I guess you could headline this episode as Fraudsters. Queers behaving badly. Weirdly, the stories are all about MAGA conservatives. So I suppose I'm going to keep a lookout for credible allegations of fraud against liberal and progressive queer public figures. I'll look for them, but right now I'm not really sure that they exist. I'm not saying that they don't. Totally possible on our side of the aisle. Stay tuned, though. We are going to have more of that when we come back here from our break. You're listening to The Gailey Show on AM 950 Radio, WCPT 820.
Greg Bakken here. I've told you about the out-of-the-world roast beef sandwiches at Maverick's Real Roast Beef, but I haven't told you about their Philly steak sandwiches, turkey bacon avocado sandwich, BLT, crispy chicken, fish sandwiches, brisket, or pulled pork. Okay, you get the idea. They make a lot of delicious food to the same standard as their famous roast beef sandwiches, and now I'm starving. I'm going to go to Maverick's Real Roast Beef off Lexington and Roseville, and you need to go too. Check out their menu at mavericksbeef.com.
Hey, it's Freddie Bell, host of New Beginnings, designed for those of us more seasoned, I'll say, with informative talk on everything from health, finance, local and regional news, volunteerism, spirituality, and even a bit of humor tossed in. So if you're proud to be a more seasoned listener, tune in to New Beginnings Sunday afternoons at 1 right here on the Progressive Voice of Minnesota, AM 950.
Find a wide selection of outdoor hearth products at Woodland Stoves and Fireplaces. Whether you prefer wood or gas, Woodland Stoves has the fire to fit your home. Pizza aficionados know nothing matches masonry oven baking for capturing flavor and nutrition. Woodland Stoves and Fireplaces can easily install one in your home or business. Enthusiasts use these ovens year-round for bread making, wood roasting, even grilling.
The mission and passion of Woodland Stoves and Fireplaces is to make the fire work for you. The way humans relate to fire is primordial. We have used fire to warm our bodies, cook our meals, and kindle our spirits. Our team has the know-how to do this in a clean burning and environmentally smart way. Visit our store and experience the diversity. We have over 35 working units on display at the corner of Riverside and East Franklin. See us online at woodlandstoves.com. Find the fire that fits and works for you.
Woodland Stoves and Fireplaces, out of the ordinary products and services since 1977.
Turn to Auto Technical with your vehicle donation. We have families waiting for a car. You know, over 85% of unemployed are successful in finding and keeping a job if they have dependable transportation. A car plus a job equals a life changed. 612-919-5526. We have families waiting for a car. 919-5526 or autotech.org.
Chanhassen Dinner Theaters brings you its most popular show of all time, Grease. You'll hear all your favorite hits from the Broadway musical and the movie. Join the whole gang at Rydell High. We'll sing, we'll dance, we'll bring you back to high school life in the 50s. Poodle skirts, bobby socks, the soda shop, and drive-in movies. Grease. It'll rock your socks off. Order your tickets today. Visit chanhassendt.com.
Welcome back to the Daily Show. I am your host, John Parker. It is just after 21 minutes past the hour. Our call-in number, 952-946-6205, 952-946-6205. Jim Pound's executive producer in the studio with me. So let's kick off our Queers Behaving Badly with George Santos. Sentenced this month for wire fraud, aggravated identity theft, money laundering, amongst other things. He pled guilty to all of it. As we can recall, or as we remember, he was expelled from Congress. He is obligated to pay restitution to his victims in the amount of $373,749.97.
Wow. That's so specific.
To raise money to pay this all and to stay in the public eye, let's be serious, he's created a Cameo account, an OnlyFans page, and a monetized podcast called Pants on Fire.
Ugh.
In July, he is required to report to prison to begin a 7-year sentence. He told Matt Gaetz, that Matt Gaetz, he will try for solitary confinement for his entire sentence because, quote, I fear for my safety.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Depending on how you define safety, but yeah.
While he said that he wasn't going to ask President Trump for a pardon, guess what? Over the weekend, Santos begged for a pardon. He wrote on his social media accounts that he did plead guilty without reservation, but now he's upset that the judge didn't take that into consideration when sentencing him. And why didn't the judge do it? Well, the prosecutors showed the judge Santos's posts on X, where he denied using campaign funds to buy high-end fashion items from Hermes in Paris with victims' money.
Mm-hmm.
He said that he was, quote, portraying himself. No, the prosecutor said, quote, portraying himself as a victim of prosecutorial overreach and selective prosecution. And now he's saying that his sentence is politically motivated, writing, I implore that President Trump gives me a chance to prove I'm more than the mistakes I've made. Trump hasn't done it yet, or said if he's going to pardon Santos. He did pardon all of the January 6th rioters. So rioters, not writers. So there's that. But let's talk about Michelle Fiore. Not part of the LGBTQ community, as far as I know. Former Las Vegas City Councilwoman and state lawmaker. Fun fact, Republicans appointed her to a seat on the Pahrump Justice Court in Nye County, Nevada. She doesn't even have a law degree. Last October, she was convicted of 6 counts of federal wire fraud and 1 count of conspiracy to commit wire fraud. AP News reporting that the federal prosecutors successfully proved that Fiore created a fundraiser for the statue of a Las Vegas police officer. The officer had been fatally shot in 2014 in the line of duty. She raised more than $70,000, but then spent the money on cosmetic surgery, rent, and her daughter's wedding.
Well, the unifying theme for all of this is, and we've talked to people that say, I'm more this than I am gay. And I would say that about George Santos. He is more a criminal than he is gay. So maybe that's how we sort of excuse ourselves and say, well, he's not, not a good gay, certainly.
We can be villains.
But criminals are very welcome in the Republican. That seems to be almost either incompetence or criminal background or criminal in willingness. Sort of a requirement for one after the other Republicans. So that seems to be a calling card. Also, lack of education. We had a state assembly person who hadn't gone to college, and I called her on it, and she didn't run again.
Yeah, I don't want to stigmatize that, because people can come out of college and they can, go into jobs and work their way up that. I think that's an unfair thing to say that people have to have a college degree. I would say in the case of being on the judicial law bench, you should have a law degree. Well, hello, Nevada GOP.
But I think an attempt to get some sort of college education beyond high school is a minimal requirement. To go to community college is not a hard thing to do. It's not a terribly expensive thing to do. I know it's expensive, but it's not out of the reach of a lot of people, even in the working class. I'd like to see something beyond high school education for the leaders of our society. That's my bias.
I worked at community colleges. I want to say that you put in your time, and it can be difficult. There's rigorous education that you can take there. I just also want to point out that this used to be a country where you could get a job.
Yes.
You didn't need to go to college. You could join a union. You could work your way up. You could be a steward in the union. You could join their negotiations teams. You could go over into management if you wanted to. And then folks out of that union organizing would run for office. And
you mean back when America was great? Is that what you're talking about?
Okay.
Labor unions and.
Okay. I want to, before we get to the break, I want to finish this story about Fiore. So technically there is there's a statue rather because of her fundraiser, but all of the unspent money went for her cosmetic surgery, her daughter's wedding, and her own rent. In a statement after her full and unconditional pardon last week, Fiore said that she plans to return to the judicial bench this week.
Wow.
Now, yesterday, when she was supposed to be there, she no-showed. Nye County said it is waiting to find out if Fiore's current suspension from the State Commission on Judicial Discipline still stands. They acknowledged to the Associated Press they were aware that Trump pardoned her, but they didn't have further comment on her situation.
Oh, Lord.
Yeah. George Santos must be just going, yes, that pardon is coming for sure. Why wouldn't it?
Yeah. No respect for good works. Only respect for bad works. That's an interesting party to be associated with.
I don't even understand, though, how you get to that point where you're being put on a judicial bench to be a judge and you don't have a law degree. Well, and I will say that this is so even egregious for some people in the Republican Party. So everyone's favorite Uber MAGA billionaire, Miriam Adelson, who owns the Las Vegas Review-Journal, that paper put out an editorial that just savaged Trump for issuing that pardon.
Yeah.
So there are some that are, within that MAGA circle that are like, oh, you went too far.
I think there's a contempt for justice and truth and decency and humanity, and there's a contempt for that, and he shows that contempt for this country every single day, whether he appoints somebody or pardons somebody or not. He says, I have contempt for most of you. And how somebody can see that as leadership is beyond my ability to comprehend. It's sad.
Well, and it's a truism at this point to point out all of the convicted criminals.
Yeah.
And credibly alleged, credible allegations rather, against so many people in his orbit that
Right.
it's mind-boggling how fraudsters,
Are
it's
drawn
just
to him.
fraudsters.
Yeah. I don't think he's been on the right side of the law at all as an adult, in my opinion.
No, I know.
Ever.
Probably not. We're not done. We've got one more to talk about, Caitlyn Jenner. We haven't forgot about you. Stay up to date on progressive news on am950radio.com and heartlandsignal.com. Stay tuned. We'll be right back.
Hello, Minnesota. This is Tom Hartman, and you can catch me every weekday from 11 to 2 right here on AM 950, the progressive voice of Minnesota. It's smart radio for smart people. Hey, it's Tom. As the birds begin to sing and the days grow longer, there's no better time to spring into savings than now with All Energy Solar. Spring is perfect for home improvements, so why not choose a project that saves you money and helps create a cleaner, greener planet? While solar panels require an initial investment, the savings on your energy bills quickly add up. With a lifespan of at least 25 years, your system from All Energy Solar can save you tens of thousands of dollars over time. Act now and you can still take advantage of the 30% federal tax credit. Plus, you may qualify for additional incentives depending on where you live. The future is uncertain, but with solar energy, you can lock in your energy rates for years to come. With All Energy Solar's experience and expertise, they'll guide you toward a greener future and unlock the full potential of solar power. Take the first step toward energy independence and a greener future. Get a free consultation today at allenergysolar.com. That's allenergysolar.com.
It's time to experience the amazing flavors of eatlocalminnesota.com. It's your key to unlocking the best local and independently owned restaurants in the Twin Cities.
Nightingale off 26th and Lindale is where good times and great flavors unite. Chef Carrie keeps it fresh with seasonal dishes, or savor classics like the Nightingale burger, steak tartare, and irresistible chocolate pot de crème. Explore tasty vegetarian, vegan, and gluten-free options, and enjoy craft cocktails, curated wines, and half-price wine bottles every Monday. Open daily 5 p.m. to 1 a.m. More at nightingalempls.com. Maverick's Real Roast Beef in Roseville sets the bar when it comes to roast beef sandwiches. But let's not forget their other mouthwatering offerings. From Philly steak to turkey bacon avocado, BLT, crispy chicken, fish, brisket, and pulled pork, the menu is a flavor-packed delight. Don't miss out on their delicious variety. Explore the full menu at mavericksbeef.com. Your taste buds will thank you.
Art-A-Whirl is celebrating its 30th year. This popular free event is the largest open studio tour in the nation, a fan favorite with art lovers, families, and fun seekers alike. With 1,400 artists and 100 locations throughout Northeast Minneapolis, you'll meet potters, painters, weavers, woodworkers, and more. And you'll find all types of art at all price levels. Then there are the terrific bars, restaurants, and breweries in Northeast, plus music, entertainment, and art demos. With Art-A-Whirl, you're set for 3 days of wonder. Start planning now. Art-A-Whirl is Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, May 16th, 17th, and 18th. Visit NEMA.org. That's NEMAA.org for details. You'll find an artist directory, maps, dining and brew guides, event and music schedules, even info on Metro Transit passes and trolley rides. Plus, new this year, a passport app can win you prizes, a commemorative sculpture and raffle, a special beer from Prize, and 30 featured artists of Art-A-Whirl. That's May 16th through the 18th in Northeast.
With your AM 950 weather, I'm Brett Johnson. Look for partly sunny skies today with a high near 58. Tonight, clear with a low around 40. And Wednesday, sunny with a high near 67. Don't miss Sasha Colby's Stripped 2 tour, an electrifying blend of dance, storytelling, and drag artistry at the Fillmore, Minneapolis on October 9th. Tickets at thefillmoreminneapolis.com. Listen to The Gailey Show and The Matt McNeil Show all week long to win tickets.
ATNF AM 950, St. Louis Park, Minneapolis, St. Paul.
Broadcasting live in the 2 p.m. hour from the studios of AM 950 KTNF, the progressive voice of Minnesota, and airing on WCPT 820 Chicago's progressive talk, weeknights at 8 p.m. Welcome back to the Gailey Show. It is 34 minutes after the hour. I am your host, John Parker. Jim Pounds, executive producer, in the studio with me. Speaking of tickets that we are giving away to Sasha Coleman, our call-in number 952-946-6205, 952-946-6205. The tickets are for the Stripped 2 tour, which is October 9th at the Fillmore Theater in Minneapolis. Have a couple pair of tickets left. You can call in 952-946-6205 to claim your pair for October 9th at the Fillmore. All right. Caitlyn Jenner, we have not forgotten you. Caitlyn, alleged fraudster. This story is so convoluted. I don't even understand most of it because it's dealing with cryptocurrency, which I don't understand as a thing. But apparently, Caitlyn created her own cryptocurrency. You can just create it? I don't know. Apparently, she did it wrong, though. She is being sued and is begging supporters for money to pay for her legal defense fund. Now I'm going to try to go through the facts of this case here before we get into the analysis of it. The lawsuit is alleging, according to LGBTQ Nation, that Jenner fraudulently solicited financially unsophisticated investors throughout the United States and abroad to purchase the unregistered securities. I have no idea what I just read. They also accused her of not registering the financial asset with the Securities and Exchange Commission, SEC. I've heard of the SEC. That sounds bad that you haven't registered a financial asset with them. And a general failure to comply with federal and state laws around securities, which meant that buyers of $Jenner meme coin didn't have all the information they needed to understand the investment. Apparently, meme coin is cryptocurrency, or is it a type of cryptocurrency? I don't know. The general vibe right now, apparently, is that she was promoting it last year, encouraging people to buy it to increase its value so then she could sell it off and get a high price for it. She even posted during Pride Month last year a picture and then was following up with other content saying, now the question is whether to build a gay folio for Pride Month. Gay folio, like a Pride portfolio. And then she was like, I'm quoting here from her social media post. Is any gay folio actually complete without $Jenner on $ETH? I have no idea what is going on here. Anyway, guess how much Jenner has raised in her legal fund as of April 23rd?
Well, based on the question, I'm going to say $100,000.
Oh, for real?
Well, I don't know. I couldn't tell if
you know what the number actually is?
No.
$7.
$7?
$7.
That's like a coffee at Starbucks.
From how many donors?
6?
2.
$3.50 a pop.
She's raised.
Well, that's what
$7.
That's what crypto is worth.
From 2 donors.
Crypto shouldn't even exist.
Now was like one person $1 and one was 6. Were they both $3.50? Was one 3 and I
think they're insulting her. Actually. That's pretty sad.
I can't. First of all, I don't even understand the story that I was talking about there. And apparently, your favorite gay villain, Peter Thiel, who was a big backer of JD Vance, because apparently JD Vance understands cryptocurrency. And anyway,
can I point out a quick thing that just occurred to me? Rupert Murdoch is from Australia. Elon Musk is from South Africa. And Peter Thiel was born in Germany.
And I'm
None
a
of
dual
these are native
citizen of France
Americans.
and the U.S.
I know, but you weren't born in France. You're a native to the United States. You understand the culture here. I'm not saying people that aren't born here don't.
The culture there
Those
too.
are 3 particularly heinous people that came here from another place with a different culture, perhaps different values. I don't know. It's just my theory, but
incorrect.
There you go.
Incorrect. Let's head over to Virginia, because this story is, I'm not quite sure what to make out of this story. So John Reed is a gay conservative radio host Didn't know those three words could go together.
They don't.
But they do apparently. And he is now the official Republican candidate for the lieutenant governor in Virginia. Got it by default, was running for it. The person who got it left for health reasons, and now Mr. Reed is the candidate. And that's when things became weird. So after getting the nomination, 2 religious activists contacted him to warn him that, quote, there were photos that would destroy his life and he would never work in all of America again, and it was in his best interest to drop out of the race for lieutenant governor. Okay. So the next day, he got 3 photos showing him at a drag show.
In the audience?
Apparently.
Huh.
This is reporting from both the Washington Blade and Cardinal News. So then, a few days later, current Republican Governor Youngkin, who I think is term limited, called Reed and said that Republican researchers had found a Tumblr account and that they believed this Tumblr account was Reed's and that he had been using it for years to post nude male model photos.
Oh, dear.
Sexually explicit photos. And Youngkin demanded of Reed to drop out of the race. Reed refused and said that the social media account was run by someone else who was using his name. He claims that he used the Wayback Machine, an internet archive that has existed since 2014, longer back than that, actually. Oh, no, I'm sorry. The Wayback Machine has existed longer than that. The account apparently originated in 2014.
Well,
Reed has said that he's not going to drop out of the lieutenant governor's race, and he's calling the allegations against him just the latest and an ongoing effort by some in the Republican Party, especially conservative Christians, to force him out of politics. And my question is, dude, have you not been paying attention to your party for the past 40 years?
Well, that's what log cabin Republicans have always been accused of. How do you get up in the morning and not feel like such a fool that you can't go out of your front door because you're hated down to your bottom of your toes by the Republicans, and yet you somehow pony up to them? Thiel, yes, and Danziel's son, his husband, same thing. It's
conservative
psychotic.
Christians own MAGA. They own MAGA. They own what was left of it. I don't even call it the Republican Party anymore. It's the MAGA Party. They own it.
I think they enable it. I don't know if they own it or they enable it.
And you know, in a video that he put out, Washington Blade reporting, he said, it's transcript, let's be honest, it's because I'm openly gay and I have never backed down to the establishment and will not. What happened today is another coordinated assassination attempt against me to force the first openly gay candidate off of a Virginia statewide ticket. Again, dude, do you know what party you're running in?
Yeah. Not a genius, I would say.
But even if you, I mean, so on the left, the gay candidates, all the queer candidates that have run on the left have had to create campaigns that addressed for the homophobes and the transphobes within the Democratic Party, within, frankly, the Green Party. I mean, left parties are not the bastions of equity that we all believe they are today. We fought and clawed and bled to get to where we're at right now.
Yep.
Still not perfect. And I say it's not perfect because how in the heck is the first LGBTQ candidate nominated for state office coming from the Conservative Party in Virginia?
That tells you everything.
That aside, how did he not think that he has to create a campaign that would address this? If I'm running for office, I'm automatically thinking about what are my, and I haven't run for office, but for watching these campaigns and studying these campaigns and reporting on these campaigns, I know they do a lot of stuff to think about how am I going to be perceived in my primary? How am I going to be perceived with my proposed voters? What are going to be my weaknesses? What are going to be the attack lines against me? If he was not realizing that in running for a Republican MAGA nomination, that he was going to be attacked for being gay. I don't know what to do.
I think it's the difference between thinking I believe X, Y, or Z versus recognizing that they don't care and hate you for arbitrary, artificial reasons. They hate you, even if they agree with you 100%, they'll hate you on this other arbitrary nonsense because there's a kind of hate focus. You're one of the people I hate, so it doesn't matter whether I agree with you. That's the logic of it.
You're reminding me of when Pete Buttigieg was running for president, and he was spending all that time in Iowa, and there was some really interesting reporting about the anti-gay sentiment there, of people quoting to the reporters that they loved everything that Mayor Pete was saying, but they couldn't vote for him because he's gay.
Yeah. Well, you've heard those conversations from Republicans too. I know it would be better if I voted for the Democrats.
The thing is that as I'm going through the reporting on John Reed, I can't figure out if this was or wasn't him. There was that guy who was running for governor in North Carolina last year, who was had all these accounts and was saying that he was a black Nazi and all of this stuff. And he was running for governor, and he didn't ultimately win. He lost by a significant margin.
Right.
But that was all able to be verified. As I'm going through here, and maybe journalists will go in and verify if this account was his or not. I also, it would boggle my mind if someone running for office would keep open a Tumblr account in his name and continue to share male nude sexual photos.
Yeah, it says something about judgment, maybe.
Well, but that's what, for me, I'm like, okay, he's probably not doing that. He cannot be that politically stupid.
I don't know how to know that. This could be something, they just don't want the guy to run, so somebody creates a false account and then they just accuse him of it. And I would not be surprised if the Republicans would do that. It's a pretty heinous. When I was around the Republican Party, it was about fiscal conservatism. This party is about abject hatred for a lot of human beings. It is what fuels them, whether they say they're Christian or anything else.
I don't deny the cruelty aspect of it. I think they're being cruel for cruelty's sake, and they want that more than ever right now. I would disagree with you as a Zennial, so end of Xers, beginning millennials, that the party was only ever about fiscal conservatism. I think that they have been historically racist.
Yes.
Not to say the Democrats weren't, but the Democrats were, particularly around the civil rights legislation and Voting Rights Act and all of that. The Democrats were on the right side of history, most of them, and the Republicans were not. But that's my perspective from my corner of the political world.
But you have to acknowledge it's evolved into where it is now. This was we didn't talk like this in 1976. We talked about.
But Reagan was
waste.
Infamously anti-LGBTQ.
Yeah, but that wasn't his party. His platform seemed to be more about, well, I'm not going to defend Reagan. I couldn't vote for him.
No.
So, but
let's not defend Reagan.
But I think it was as much about, as much about fiscal conservatism as it was about.
This gets me though, and we're coming up on a break here, where there's this rehabilitation happening of Bush.
Ugh.
George W. Bush should be in The Hague. There are credible, allegations of war crimes against him and Dick Cheney, and yet we're rehabilitating them because they're having feels against Trump.
Yep.
And so I don't want to whitewash or pinkwash what they went through.
No.
Right. Anyway, one more break. Still lots to get to here on The Gailey Show on AM 950 Radio and WCPT 820.
You have a loved one who is not receiving the care that they deserve at their current memory care facility. I'm Aiden Helene, Director of Community Relations here at the Welshire, and I meet with families every single day who are struggling with poor staffing, missed medications, poor personal cares, and an absence of engagement from consistent activities. 85% of our residents at the Welshire are coming from other memory care facilities that could not meet their care needs. Not all memory care is created equally. And if this is something your family is experiencing, I encourage you to come visit our community of well-being and see the Welshire difference, where we promise that your loved one will live with pride and dignity. The Welshire has 24/7 nursing, a robust activities team that provides activities 7 days a week. And when the diagnosis takes a 9 to 5 approach, so will we. Book a tour at welshiremn.com and see our community of well-being in action. That's welshiremn.com. Again, that's welshiremn.com.
Hey everyone, this is longtime AM 950 host Ellie Krug. I'm thrilled to announce my brand new show, The Illegal Trans Woman, which takes advocacy for my community, transgender and gender variant people, up several big notches. The Illegal Trans Woman will feature interviews, commentary, and information aimed at pushing back against efforts to oppress trans and gender variant humans. Please tune in on Saturdays at 4 or wherever you go to get your podcasts. And do me a favor, share about the show. Thanks.
Hey, it's Patrick. Spring showers may bring May flowers, but they also bring big savings with Zero Res. And right now, you can beat the spring cleaning rush with big savings and priority booking by calling our heroes at Zero Res. Zero Res removes winter's buildup and lingering odors, giving your home a fresh, spring-ready feel, preparing your home for the brighter days ahead. Just check out the almost 21,000 raving customer service reviews online with a 4.9 Google rating and see what all the hype is about. This month, get 3 rooms Zero Resified from Minnesota's #1 carpet cleaner, starting at just $119, and take $75 off an air duct cleaning as well. You owe it to yourself and your family to breathe healthy, happy, and clean. Call Zero Res right now at 9520-RES or go online to ZeroResMinnesota.com and say you want the AM 950 special. Spell it backward or forward, it's the same. Zero Res.
I'm Dr. Stefano Sinacropi, an orthopedic spine surgeon and wellness evangelist, hosting the brand new Recharging the Human Battery show on AM 950 radio. My co-host Mandy Dickey and I will delve into various health topics ranging from medicine to nutrition to exercise, emerging technologies, and yes, some way out there stuff. Will provide a balanced view of today's landscape, helping listeners navigate its complexities and hoping to change the way you think about your health. Recharging the Human Battery airs Saturdays at 11 a.m.
Welcome back to the Gailey Show. I'm your host, John Parker. It is about 9 minutes before the top of the hour. Jim Pounds, executive producer, in studio with me. So for folks who have been listening here on AM 950 radio, you all listeners will know about this. And for folks who are in WCPT 820, we're going to introduce this to you. So we also, Jim and I, host and executive produce a podcast called This Queer Book Saved My Life. It was a GLAAD Media Award nominee for Outstanding Podcast last year in 2024. Also finalist for Best LGBTQ Podcast at the PopCon Indie Awards in Indianapolis last year. On the show, we interview LGBTQ guests about a queer book that had a life-saving impact for them. So that could be finding the language to come out, or beginning your gender affirmation, or processing an abusive relationship. And in a couple of episodes, quite literally, the book played a key role in saving someone's life who was going through suicidal ideation. A couple of guests actually were going through that. So right now we are actually in the midst of a special series. So as we've been watching MAGA go after the queer community and trying to erase us from public life, we've created a series, a special series, limited series of 6 episodes. And each episode features a guest who is either the owner of or a manager, staff member of an LGBTQ bookstore. And today we released a new episode. We're a bi-weekly podcast on Tuesdays. Today we released a new episode featuring Lighthouse Bookshop. The bookseller there is Christina Neuwirth, Dr. Christina Neuwirth. And we were talking about the essay collection, Something That May Shock and Discredit You by Daniel M. Lavery. Delightful book, really funny. And it was such a poignant conversation with Christina because it was during COVID. And it was a book that she knew about. They knew about. I apologize. Christina uses they pronouns. Christina saw the book on the shelves, didn't want to buy it though, because they were afraid of what was going to happen if they read it, because they were nervous that they would get some truths about themselves that they weren't quite ready to admit. And so they did ultimately get the book, and it began their process of understanding their gender, understanding themselves as non-binary. Again, Dr. Neuwirth uses they pronouns. And it was just really, I don't want to sound cheesy and say heartwarming, but it was, here's this bookseller who spends most of their day helping people come into the bookstore saying, I want to learn more about the trans community. I want to know about how to be a better anti-racist. I want to know more about, environmentalism. And Christina helps them find these books, walk them through, like, what exactly do you want to know about? You could try this book. You could try that book. So to see them moving through their own, identity while working as a bookseller in Lighthouse Bookshop, which is in Edinburgh, Scotland, by the way. So I cannot wait to get to Edinburgh and visit this particular bookshop. But it was just I enjoyed the conversation very much with them. And then also to have the author, Daniel M. Lavery, who wrote the Dear Prudence column at Slate magazine. And it's an essay collection, and it is very, very funny. And I wish I brought my copy of it actually to read the episode titles, because it is just they're very funny. And I'm laughing, but you don't know what the joke is because I don't have my copy with me. But also for him to, as a trans man, and there was something that we connected with around end times. He had one essay that he wrote that was about the rapture and the end times, the Christian version of that, and the impact that it had for him. And I went through a similar experience with he was dealing with the Left Behind series. I was dealing with a series of films from the 70s. They were called Christian horror apocalypse films about the end times that left an indelible mark on me. But that wasn't all that he was writing about in there. He was trying to write essays on the perspective of transition and trans identity and non-binary identity from a tongue-in-cheek but also very pointed manner. And it's just a really, really good book.
Can we pull back just a little bit just to say that there are 72 episodes of this queer book, Save My Life. And if you're a sociology kind of person at all, this is not, for me, it's not about going in and finding where are the gay men that are writing about stuff that I know something about. If you listen to every single one of these episodes, you will learn something about yourself, yes, maybe, or about some other part of the community that you didn't have a knowledge of or don't have an affinity with. And it just expands your idea of the rainbow so magnanimously, frankly, and so humanely that I just get this feeling of pride no matter whether I can relate to this person's life or their point of view or not. I feel proud to know it. Does that make sense? Yeah. It's like being introduced to your neighbors that you've never gone over and said hello to before. So I think it's worth listening to all 72 episodes because
it's
a
we
great education.
Host and produce it.
Well,
you can be, part of a podcast that was nominated for a GLAAD Media Award. We're very, very grateful to our sponsor, Lambda Literary, the only national LGBTQ literary organization in the United States. They are our media sponsor for the series. And so they're actually running a fundraiser right now for their annual fellowship program. I was a Lambda Literary Fellow in 2022. It was absolutely transformational for me in terms of my writing and helping me be a better writer and getting my manuscript in shape where I could actually work on it in a real way. So you can go to thisqueerbook.com or stream This Queer Book, Save My Life, everywhere you get your podcast. But in there's a link if you want to help donate to the fellowship program to make sure that the attendees who are accepted can attend regardless of costs. And so it's a really great program. We really love Lambda Literary. We're so grateful to them for being our media sponsor. And we're so grateful to you, AM 950 listeners, WCPT 820 listeners, for being with us here today, either on YouTube or listening to us, however you're listening to us, on the radio, through websites, TuneIn, etc. For all of you, Matt McNeil Show is coming up next. For folks in Minnesota, stay tuned for Native Roots Radio after that. And until tomorrow, keep it queer, America.
Keep it queer.